Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, part number 8. Sorry for this big pause, like where I didn't push any video. Was kind of a crazy week in the past few weeks. Two client project get released and stuff like that. So yeah, so I don't want to go too much in that, but yes, so now I'm back on making video. So today the plan is to transform where we stop, finally where we play the episode when we mount the app to this screen where, not this screen, but like to this state where when I'm gonna finally click on one of the episodes, I'm gonna be able to after that see this kind of a mini player at the top of my tab bar where we're gonna have the state of playing and pause here, and you're gonna be able to pause and play finally. So we're gonna start with that. So the first thing I want to do is to transform what we do right there. So what I want to do is, first thing, I don't want the app to be, in one sec, I think I'm gonna just increase the font size. I think I just make it smaller really quick. I'm gonna just make it back to 20. Okay. The first thing I want to do is to have a ready state, okay? A Boolean ready state. This one here, his job is gonna be to say if the player is ready or not, okay? So that's gonna be a use state type of Boolean. By default, the app is not ready. Now what I want to do is I'm gonna take this track player, setup player then, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove it from the away because I'm gonna just use then. So I'm gonna put the register playback. I'm gonna remove all the other stuff like that. And finally, when I'm here and it's done, I'm gonna say set ready to be true. So I know when it's ready, the track player has been set up. So finally, the app, we need that. So this is kind of like the main feature. So I don't want the app to be available until this is done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna say if it's ready, I'm gonna do a ternary here. If it's ready, show the main stack navigator. If it's not, here we're gonna show a box where we're gonna have a flex one center where we're gonna just say activity indicator right there in the middle. So you see, we get this bit of loading, but in a real app that's gonna be managed by a splash screen, but this is not really what we want to do with this app yet. After that, I'm gonna remove this track, we don't need that. And now it become a bit more cleaner. Okay, after that, what I want to do is we want to start working on a context. So I was thinking about, should I show Mobex? Should I show, I don't know, Redux, Recoil, or everything else, you know? But I mean, we have only almost just one place where we're gonna have this kind of share state. So why not creating a context? And I don't think I've shown a video about how to use it. So yeah, so we're gonna create a new folder called context. And inside this one, I'm gonna create a file called PlayerContext.tsx. The way this PlayerContext is gonna work is gonna be pretty simple. I don't even know if what I'm gonna show you, it's kind of like what you've seen somewhere else, but this is the way I use context. So here I'm gonna import Aaron track player. I don't know why my website called that Aaron. I think you just like take the first letter of each, and we're gonna go with that. After that, yeah, I'm gonna create the interface of my player context type. So what do we want as a type? I always when I work with TypeScript, I almost always work with the type first. It just let me having like a clear mind of the feature and stuff I'm gonna need to do. So the first thing I want is to have a Boolean, it's playing. I want to have one if it's pause. And now maybe you ask why you don't say, hey, if it's pause, it means it's playing, and if it's playing, means it's pause. It's because you have other stuff. You're gonna need to know if it's stop. You're gonna need to know if it's buffer and stuff like that, and that's gonna be the thing we want. Also, if it's empty. So empty means like we have nothing playing yet, and I don't want to show the mini player if you don't. After that, we want to get the current track. The current track gonna be equal to the track from React Native track player, or can be null. And finally, we're gonna have two functions where we're gonna have a function play. For the play, I just want to pass it a track, and this thing's gonna return void, so return nothing. And we're gonna also have a pause function who's gonna do nothing else than just void. That's it. After that, here I want to create my context. I'm gonna export it also. So export player context equal react.create context, and for the generic type here, we can pass it the player context type. And now right there, we're gonna be able to fill up everything. So as the default value. So is playing is false, is pause is false, is stop is false, is empty is false, current track is empty, I'm gonna say true by default, current track is gonna be null, play is gonna be a function, for now we return null, and pause is gonna be a function, for now we return null also. Perfect. Now after that, what I like to do is to create a player context provider, where his job is gonna be finally to wrap the child with the provider. So to get the children, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do FC like that, so for functional component. I know they plan to kind of change it, but it's not like I mean, for now it's okay, I think. And now here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do player context dot provider right there. And now after that, inside that, I can receive some props, and inside my props, I'm gonna have access to children. And finally, the other element I want is to have a hook called use player context, who is going to be just a function. We're going to return react that use context, and you pass it player context. So it's going to be much more simpler for us to use. Now, player context provider is unhappy because it don't have the value, okay? So this is what we need to create. So first thing before, so I want to create a player state and a set player state. So the job of the player state here is going to be able to keep track of the state of the errand track player. So it's going to be a state. By default, it's going to be null or equal to a state. Okay, from React Native track player. And by default, I'm going to say null. But I don't like to call that state because it means like, you see, like it's like too much. I don't like that finally. So I'm going to just say as track player state. Now I know this is which state. Okay. Now, how can I push the player state from the track player inside that? This is where React hook useEffect is gonna make sense. So think about useEffect, it's kind of like component in mode, will on mode, and did update all in one shot. And here, when I put the square bracket like that, I mean it's gonna appear only once, and that's gonna be on mount. And now here what I can do is I'm gonna get the listener by creating errand track player that add even listener. I'm gonna do this like that, after that I'm gonna show you why. Here I need to say which even listener I want. I want the playback state. And here we're gonna destruct the state, because that's going to be an object where you have the track player state. And now here we're going to do set player state, and we pass it the state. That's it. Now the reason why I did want to have here the listener, it's because you can on mount finally remove this listener like that. So on mount we do this, and on mount I'm gonna finally tear down my listener. Okay, so now here I can start to create our value. So our value is going to be equal to player context type, and now here I'm gonna say is playing. So when do this player is playing? It's playing when the player state equal track player is equal to state playing, coming from track player again. Is pause gonna be equal when player state equal state that pause. is stop, it's going to be equal to player state equal state that stop. Is empty is going to be equal when finally the current track. One sec. Yeah, no, a player state equal null. So finally, nothing yet happened. Current track is going to be equal to the thing we're going to do right now. So current track is going to be finally something null or finally equal to the track. So here, null or the track, by default is going to be null. So I'm going to just say current track is like that. And now here I need to create the two functions we missed, play and pause. And also, because we already know, I'm going to say value equal value right there. So now here we're going to create the function. So we need the play and we need the pause. So for the pause, its job is pretty simple. We're gonna say React track player pause. That's it. So we can already pass this one. For the play, it's gonna be a bit harder. What we want to do for the play, it's three things. The first thing is we want to add the track. So remember here we're gonna receive the track. So track like that. We want to add the track, and remember it needs to be passed as an array. After that, I want to set the current track to be the track. And finally, I want the track player to call play. And now I can pass play right there. So that's it for the player context. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's React and you just plug with whatever you have. After that, app.tsx. Now, here, this is where we're gonna wrap our stuff. So here, our React navigation container, we're gonna wrap that with player context provider, just like that. After that, what we want to do is creating this bottom tab. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new component. So a component inside a folder MiniPlayer. We're gonna create a file called MiniPlayer.tsx. We're gonna create it really quick for now. Height of 75, and we're gonna put a BG of red just to make sure we see it. And now we want to show that always at the top of the tab bar. So the way to work with that is to go to your main tab bar. At the top, where you have your bottom tab, here, import your bottom tab bar. So that's gonna be the default one. And now here, in the main tab bar navigator, you just need to pass it as the tab bar. So here, that's gonna receive some props. Or I'm gonna say tabs props. And now here, okay, one sec. I did a mistake. Like that, like that. Should be good now. Okay. So now here, what I want is to pass a React fragment like that. Here, I'm gonna pass the bottom tab bar. And I'm gonna just spread the tabs props. So this way, if I save, everything stays the same. You see, everything stays the same, everything works. But now I can pass my MiniPlayer right there at the top. Boom. Now my MiniPlayer is gonna always be here at the top. Now, we need to plug this MiniPlayer with the thing we need. So the first thing is we're gonna get the player context equal use player context. And the first thing, it's getting this row direction row, flex direction row, where you have 3 elements. So the first thing you do, it's you put your some padding here of medium, small. After that, this box gonna take a flex one, and you're gonna have a direct row for flex direction row. After that, the first element, it's an image. Until we have it, right now, we're gonna say height 50, width 50, BG blue light for our theme color, and we're gonna say radius of 10. So now if I save, we get that right there, because now it go at the top because the align is flex start by default. We want it to be center, and also remember we want it to be between, justify between, so they're gonna take the maximum space they can. After that, here we're gonna have with a text the title of the episode we play. So this is the title. Now you see, take the place here, and finally here we're gonna have some button. So so we're gonna import icon from vector icon feather like that, and now here we're gonna have a box where we're gonna have a touchable opacity, because that's gonna be a button. And also I don't like when my stuff is like that. And now here that's gonna be an icon, and for now we're gonna just say the play, and we want a size of 3D. Now you see we get that like that, but I want this title to take the full space because I want him to touch almost the side here. So you say flex 1 here to this box who control the text. After that you can say the image here wants on margin right 10, and I want this box to never touch the play, so I'm going to put a margin of 20, so it's never going to go further than that. Perfect. Now I want to show the play button when it's paused. So PlayerContext is pause. So if it's paused, this is the only moment where we're going to show the button play, and on press. So remember, it's paused, so that means it's have already a current track. So what you can do, it's PlayerContext.play, and for the track, you can say PlayerContext.current track. So just play the one you already use. I put the bank symbol here because if you don't, you're gonna say, hey, cannot be null. But if it cannot be null, you can do this, or you can do another logic where finally you go in the play. You go in the play, and you just say, hey, if I have no track, that means just I want to play. So you can do the logic here, so you can put like this. You can say if no track and current track. So if current track exists, you just need to call play. And you return, so you stop right there. 1 sec. I'm gonna do this, and now if current track, like that. And now this is the same thing. So now here I can just put like that. Go back to my MiniPlayer. Now I don't need to pass nothing. So now I can also remove the arrow function because it's gonna be passed as a callback. Yeah, but now this one's gonna cry because yeah, so we can just keep it like that. Okay, after that, if it's play, we want the pause. If it's if it's is stop, we want a square to look like a pause. When it's playing, we want to pause. And now this one's gonna be happy because this one don't need to pass nothing. And for this one, for now, we're gonna just say null for now. Okay, and now, okay, like that. I don't know if I save, nothing have changed. But now what we can do, it's first thing remove the red. We want that to be white. We want also here to have a border, so border top width of 1 and border top color of theme, that color that gray like this. Now we should be good with that. So now it looks a bit better on white, perfect. And now here for the image, and not just for the image, first we want to don't show that if we have nothing. So if PlayerContext the is empty, or PlayerContext that current track is null, we want to return null. Don't worry, we're gonna animate that in some other video, but now it looks like that. Perfect. So now here we can say image URI player context that current track dot artwork, like that. After that, for the image, because it came from the internet, you need to put it aside, so flex 1. And now, because I want to make sure it's run, so I'm gonna say overflow hidden. For the title here, I'm gonna just say player context that current track that title. And for the text, I'm gonna also make sure I have number line of 1. Perfect. So now time to test it and to play one. After that, that's gonna be done for this video. So what we want to do is going back to the player podcast detail, podcast detail, right there. And in this one, this is where we're gonna make the play with the button. So example, if we use search for full stack radio, and don't know why it's slow. Okay, I want when I click play, it played the last episode, so it's right there. Oh, we're gonna wrap that with a touchable opacity. Remember, you need to import that from React Native. And when you click on that, we want to get first the player context. Sorry, I forget that. So const player context equal use player context. And now right there, player context is that play. And now we're gonna build a track right there. But for building the track, here we need to make sure then we have the first element, because remember, we do this kind of data feed. So I'm gonna say const el for element. If I don't have an element, I want to return this function early. So now I can use it. So for the title, that's gonna be el at title. For the artwork, that's gonna be el that image, but image can be null. So if we don't have the image, I'm gonna take the one from the podcast data, that thumbnail. So that's gonna be this one here, if we don't have one. After that, for the ID, that's gonna be the link URL. After that, for the URL, it's gonna be link URL, like that. And the only thing I want to also pass is the artist. Is gonna be podcast data.artist. And now we should be good. Perfect. So now if I click play, you see, now it gets shown right there. Yes, we want an animation for sure in the future, but now you see, if I pause, it's paused.
This is Full Stack Radio, episode 142.
And now you can play with that. Now after that, you can here do one little change, where for the icon, it get changed when it's the same current track than this one and it's playing. But this is something we can do in the future, or you can do this in your free time. So again, the code's gonna be on GitHub, part number 8 for the branch, or you can look master for all the app. I hope you enjoy. If you did like this episode, please click the like button. And also if you didn't subscribe, mean a lot for me. And we talk in the next one. Bye everyone.